In the last few videos, I basically talked about the Commodore 64 being reborn in terms of new machines that people can pre-order. I also talked about all of the technology for music relating to the Commodore 64 in terms of products that you could purchase, software that you could purchase. Now, I recently have got into chiptune music via finding out about the new Commodore 64s, and I came across SidTracker64. Now, I used to program on the Amiga back in the day, but I never programmed music on the Commodore 64. So I was very keen to see what this was about. I originally tried Goat Tracker on the Mac, but it wasn't 64-bit supported. So I then found by doing research online that SidTracker64 was on the iPad. Now, I make music on the iPad via Cubasis. So for me, this was a really well worth app in terms of checking it out. It was £10. It's got 4.4 ratings, and it's just a brilliant piece of software in my opinion. So if I go to open, now I've only kind of used this for like a couple of hours just to get an idea of it. Now, if you're familiar with trackers, you'll see that there's 3 channels here. Well, 4. So this is channel number 1, this is channel number 2, this is channel number 3, and this is the effects channel, okay? So the way that trackers work is rather than go left to right in terms of timing, it goes top to bottom, and you've got these steps in terms of 0, 0, 0, going all the way down to whichever you choose, which is currently 31, okay? So if, as an example, this is a blank track, I'm going to select the metronome and I'm just going to play it. I can change the beats per minute by dragging down, left, sorry. Let go there. That yellow button there stops it from following the play that it's currently on. And the way that it'll work, it'll just repeat. Now, if I want to record something, I can play the keyboard. Now, what you're listening to is the classic lead. So if I click on the classic lead, you'll see that you've got various presets, which are actually really useful. But the joy of using the presets is that you can then use the controls on the left to actually change the waveform, vibrato, pulse, etc., which is just really handy, okay? So if we listen to the classic lead, I mean, this is like, this is taken from the SID chip from the Commodore 64. So the waveforms, you've got things like envelopes and sawtooths and etc. So you can change via these different waveforms. That's noise. I don't even know what the last one does, but yeah, there you go. You can then change like the density of the volume envelope. Okay, now it is quite raw in terms of the sound, so you do have to bear that in mind when you're actually making the music. Now, if I just want to record that, I press the record button, okay, and I just press it, and I click to rail 1. Okay, so let's have a listen now. So I'm going to let go of record, I'm going to go to the top and press play. I could have rewound it, to be fair, but let's press play. Now, you need to be aware that you've only got 3 channels to use. So some of the music back in the day on Commodore 64, there wasn't any drums on some music because there wasn't enough room to fit it all in. Like, the joy of this is that this is the classic lead, but then on this one here, you might be able to have a like a hi-hat, okay? Where's the hi-hat gone? There it is. So literally on here, so press record. So you can use different instruments on different rows, okay? If that's going to help. So let's have a listen to that. See what I mean? Now you can do various things, like you can select, you can double tap, where you can use the clipboard to copy, paste, cut, move up, move down, or done. You can select all as well if you want to. So there's lots of things you can do here, which I just think is absolutely brilliant. So you've got the ability to change your instruments on the left. You've got the keyboard on the bottom. What you can also do on the keyboard is, if I tap the bottom left where the 4 squares are, that will allow the drum kit to come into play. So you can use that as well, which is quite cool. I mean, this is like from the original SID chip, so this is really authentic. Now, the amazing thing is, if I click on save, you can save it as actual. Let's just choose one, shall we? Save as. I don't want to overwrite anything though, so let's just dub 2. Okay, let's just save that as an example. You're able to actually save them as SID files, which is really cool. Sorry, via export. So these save as is the project files, excuse me, and exporting is .sid and .s64 or .prg for program, or an audio file. Basically means whatever you make on this app, you're able to export it and play it on a real Commodore 64, and it'll play it. And I just think that's so amazing. You don't have to convert it or anything like that. So you're able to save it in the official formats, which is just brilliant. Now you've got settings as well. So settings brings up quite a lot of things. I'm not going to go into all of these right now because there's quite a lot to cover. But you've got some really important ones here, like pattern length. Now, I like to leave it to 32 rows per pattern. But you can change the colour grouping. You might want to use MIDI. You might want to program that MIDI in. You can change the beats per minute on here as well. Ticks per note, the volume. So that was quite useful to know as well. If I click on the, let me do that again. So on the very top right where the colours are, that brings you to the help index. It is a very, very handy user guide. Okay, so anything that you don't know that's covered in this video, just look into this. There's Twitter, web, Facebook, Instagram, so website as well. It's built on the possibilities and limitations in the SID chip. Now, what I think is really interesting is software and technology that has limitations. For me personally, I make better music out of limited software, which is why I use Cubasis instead of Cubase, because Cubasis is the iPad version, which is more limited. And I just make better music that way. And it was the same on the Amiga. So I encourage you to try this out if you are interested. So, brilliant. So this is just an example of the help in terms of what everything is. So the things that I haven't covered, you've got a toggle on the top left for song edit or instrument edit, which we'll go into in a moment. You've got things like pattern loop on there. You've got the metronome. You've got beats per minute. And what you've got down the bottom, you've got the drum pads on and off. You've got cycle, where you can cycle notes input between voices. You've got polyphony, I was going to say polyphonic, but 1, 2 or 3 voices, where you can combine voices together. You've got the keyboard play to record notes. You've got the keyboard range as well, which you just simply slide left and right while you're holding it down to actually change that on the keyboard. So that's good. What else do we have? You've got the instrument name, the transport bar, the edit menu, the instrument. This is the part where you can change the instruments. Now, there is a wave table selector. So let me show you that now. This is really blown me away, actually. Oh, that was a bad example. Let me go back, actually. Let me change that to arpeggio major 47. Okay, what I can do is I can go into click waveform. You're able to change the sounds. Oh, nothing there now. Oh, I've done something, haven't I? Is there an undo button here? Reset. Yeah, there you go. You've got reset buttons. So I thought that was really cool. If you want to actually change or morph or whatever the instrument, you're able to do that as well. There's just so much to this, isn't there? Now on the right hand side of the screen, you've actually got effects. Okay. Now if I play this again. Right, so I'll go to the top. And what I want to do is I want to change it major 7th. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've recorded that. Okay, now what you could do, you could play and record, and anything you press is going to remember it. In fact, I might change it. There you go. Now what you can do, you can use these effects. Now, probably the most popular one is sustain. So rather than have to click each single one and press a sustain, you can just go to where you want it, the end to be, and press sustain, and it does it all the way to the end for you. Now let's have a listen to the difference of this when I've done this on both, okay? So we've got sustain on both those 2 notes in this track. So it just holds the note down, which I thought was really cool. You're able to mute tracks if you want to, which is again really useful. There's more effects on the right as well. For example, if I want an auto glide, I can do that. Let's do it here. See if that works. It may not work, but I'll see if I can. Yeah, I want glide on and vibrato as well. Let's have a listen to this. So that gives you a good idea as well of what you can do. Okay, so just going back to the help again. And so that's the instruments. I mean, there's a lot of explanations about what everything does. I don't know what everything does on this, but because there's so much to it. You're able to change these pattern numbers, okay? So, for example, think of a pattern as a mono synthesizer track. A pattern contains the notes for one voice only, okay? So, you're able to change the pattern numbers. So, on the left, you got pattern 1. In the middle, you got pattern 41. And on the right, you got 81. When you link the song together, you can then choose which patterns correspond to each part of the song, okay? We haven't got to that stage yet. But we're able to do that via, is it going to show me on here? Via song editing. Here we are. So where I showed you 1, 41 and 81, you can see that that corresponds to the first part of the track on the left. So I'll show you what this means in a minute. So on the left, you've got the song length bar, which you can change by dragging and dropping if you want to. You can change the pattern numbers, swiping left and right, but it shows you what you want to do. So we have done one. This is all one track, if you like. If I go to song edit mode, that gets rid of the instruments, and it's just going to repeat what it's done. If I wanted to add an extra part of the song, okay, it's then going to play row 2, 42 and 82. So if I click on that, that's now loaded at 2, 42 and 82. And the start of the song will be 1, 41, 81. So if I go back to the original part of the song, what I'm able to do is I'm able to copy that, go to that part and paste it. Oh, what have I just done? I think I shouldn't have done it because it highlighted both of them, and I think it's potentially, oh, it hasn't got rid of it. Okay, so here, paste. There we go. So it's going to play this section of the song first twice. It will then do 2, 42, 82 in the third section, and then on the fourth on the ending, it'll do 3, 43, 83, if that makes sense. It is really difficult to explain. But basically, if I click on that, it's going to be the same because I've pasted it. But then I could make tweaks if I wanted. In this section, I'm going to do something completely different so we can just understand what I'm on about. If I do a ring noise, let me record that. Good. I'm just checking that that's right. And then for the ending, we'll have oh, that's actually replaced some of the numbers for me, I think. I'm trying to get to the end. How do I get there? So we've got 2. I'm probably loading it wrong, so I need to go to 3, don't I? So let me go to 3 on here, and then 43 on there, and 83 on there. Oh my God, it's really messing me up a bit now. Here we go. There we go. So now it's moved to the next section. Brilliant. Awful demo, but it gives you an idea of what it's capable of. Now, again, let me just have a quick look. I don't want to go too much into this because I'm aware that this is going to be a long video otherwise. It's just really, I wanted to give you an intro. There's loads of stuff on here. I mean, I showed you glide, vibrato, sustain, but it shows you what they are. It shows you the note effect icons as well, a song row, what it means, how to edit a song, how to go into the steps and actually edit them, how to form the song itself, wavetable edit, which I've shown you. There's something called pulse table edit, filter table edit, drum pad edit, MIDI settings, filter controls, and MIDI controllers. Just incredible piece of software. What I love about this software, if I go to the save section, I can go load. There's loads of preset songs, demo songs here. Let's have a listen to SidTracker. Have a listen to that and load. And you see how complex some of these actually are. Let me play this. I skipped. Nice. Now let me try another one. You can have a listen to... Let's have a listen to Rainy Funky June. Load. You might be able to pick up the effects there. And to get yourself used to it, you're able to use these songs and actually edit them yourselves to kind of understand how this app works. Then you're able to use your own. So let me load mine so you can have a listen to the one that I worked on yesterday. So I actually did this for my birthday. And I'm going to start it from the beginning and press play. That was literally it. That's my first attempt of a track on SidTracker64. I think it's the most accessible way to make authentic SID chiptune music that can be played on real Commodore 64s. And I really feel for the developers, the programmers that had to create music with assembly code or whatever they used to do this for like games. I feel honestly it must have been an absolute nightmare. I read an article in the last video which basically explained that somebody did it in a tracker and then they converted it to code because otherwise it would have been nigh impossible to do in code. Other people just did it in code, but I cannot tell you how much easier this is, even though I'll be honest, it is still a learning curve to get to grips with. I looked at Goat Tracker YouTube videos and for me it was just way too technical. You needed to really understand how the SID chip actually worked to do this, to make a song. Whereas SidTracker64, I'm all for it. It's a brilliant app, and for 10 quid, I think it's absolutely worth it. So I hope this video has helped. Please consider subscribing. There is a retro computer playlist. I do focus my channel around music. So if you're interested in, I don't know, music AI, Web3 music, retro music, tech, then make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.